without any direction. M is assembling a committee to review social studies textbooks and make recommendations for the purchase of social studies textbooks for next year. We are contracting with Edleo for a webpage. Tonight we are paying for their invoice. We expect to have a new website up within 6 weeks, designed, and I have it. I'm in the process of developing a district calendar for next year. I will have it to the union soon for their comment, and will submit it to the board by February or no later than March. I have posted a vacancy notice for an elementary principal. We've received 0 interest from local football conferences for us to join. I've also received no correspondence from other teams wishing to play. As Tom mentioned tonight, he's interested in scheduling games with the Northeast Conference. Teams in the Northeast Conference are from Aurora, Chicago, Hebron, Elgin, Mooseheart, Rockford, Arlington Heights, and Ottawa. Tom has stated we would be playing JV games and could supplement the conference games with other teams. However, that is unknown at this point. Many of these schools are 3 hours away by bus. As a result, the co-op would incur a huge transportation expense. Players would need to leave early for games. We so far have forfeited 2 seasons at this point. We have no idea how many students will try out. I personally believe that another River Valley Co-op member needs to take over this program. Currently, what we are doing is not working. If another team doesn't want to take over the program, we either eliminate the program, is my recommendation, or dissolve the co-op and seek other opportunities. I've informed other co-op members about taking over the program. Washburn has indicated they are not interested in doing so. I am recommending if we don't hear from the other co-op members by the February board meeting, the district consider eliminating the program for fiscal year 17. Any questions?
Principals, reports, Mr. Gowan.
I'll highlight a few things in my report. One is, as a staff, in the January release, we talked about the enrichment hours, things that are going right, things that we could change. One of the problems that we're coming into is some of them are bigger with enrollment than others. Some of them only have a handful of kids. So somehow we have to figure out how to evenly displace the students more evenly. Some of the enrichment courses have limitations. Some legitimately so with, for example, Mrs. Share and cooking won't have so many people in the cooking area at one time. But we have to find ways to disperse kids more evenly. And what we're discussing is these 3 options here. One is to keep enrichment as an enrichment block, but take away 15 minutes, so it's roughly about a half hour long, and then creating another hour, so to speak, in the school day. Not offering any more necessarily coursework or preps for teachers, just another hour for another section or something. For example, that's where STEM classes would go. But that would be adding a 9th hour, I guess, you can say that. So that's one option. Option 2 is making 5th hour a regular class for the most part. Keeping all semester classes to that hour. That way you still have some movement available for RTI, which is why we really created the enrichment block. So it's on 9 weeks, so we can have some movement between MTSS or RTI for some of those supports. Or option 3 is keep it the same and try to limit the limitations to some of these courses. That seems to be the way that we're leaning right now, if we had to say. But I mean with the BLT. But talking with some parents, they like it a lot. With some of the, the tag program, the MTSS, informational literacy class, to deal with yearbooks, ceramics, they like the coursework and they don't want to see it go. So I would like to respect that too. So we're going to talk about that tomorrow. The other thing that I want to highlight is the state assessment. Still up in the air. The state has chosen SAT as the state assessment as of right now. However, ACT has chose to challenge that ruling, so it's still up in the air. I called ISBE the other day and They would still like to offer it in the spring, but they don't know yet. One thing is the budget is an issue, and then also they have to go through this challenge from ACT. Why SAT? Cheaper test, it's a Pearson test, like Park, and Tony Smith is from the West Coast, would be another reason why. So still up in the air. We're preparing accordingly. Whichever way it goes, our test prep classes will be able to prep them for Park, ACT, or SAT.
Is there average age for
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's some components that, similar being able to read and comprehension, math, but there's a lot of different subject areas that you can test with SAT. Now, what the state will make us or mandate us to test, I don't know for sure right now, but we're preparing for any scenario. The other thing is we have to take a science test this spring as well. And for this first year, all AP Bio students will have to take it, and all biology students. And after that, it will just be one time after this first year. It'll just be anybody who takes biology into the year course assessment like.
Jeremy, do different universities, West one over the other, is it just the state?
Well, yeah, depending on where you go, SAT is traditionally usually your West Coast, East Coast schools, but if you talk to some other people that are challenging the SAT, most people feel that ACT is the one that most colleges would look at. Now, I plan on going to a junior college. It's not as necessary as going to U of I, for example. So, the state still wants to offer that free college assessment for students as of right now, regardless of what's happening with the budget. We're just kind of waiting to see what they do. But, we've already got some books. Mr. Pudding got some books, I got some books for the SAT just to help prepare our staff, to help our students with whichever test they decide to go. And then we're still giving the information for the national test sites for our students that want to take the ACT. They're planning on going to, state school around here. They can still take the ACT. So this spring, we're up in there. We're taking part, but as far as the other assessment, we're not sure. Waiting on the state. The other thing that I would like to mention is I've had a few parents ask, and then Josh also as well, but just wanted to see what we were thinking, or what we concluded with regards to graduation. Did we settle on a certain weekend from last year, or we plan on setting that later? Last Sunday of the month.
Every year. So that we would.
Henry, I asked Henry, they haven't set a date yet.
Oh, they don't always use that.
I guess not. No, because I asked them the other day, they have not set a date yet. We're thinking for last Sunday is what we made it.
That's what we thought.
I think if we consistently do, the same one, but everybody just, 2 years from now, you can look at the calendar and know when the child's gonna graduate.
Yeah.
That'd be the third.
Yeah, so every once in a while, that would fall on Memorial Day. I think this year we're Memorial Day weekend. Right now would be 17th, 16th.
Well, then all the more
We've run into.
That's what, I know, regardless of what Saturday you pick, it would be some traffic.
They usually actually.
Depends what high school is. Right now, with one emergency day that we've taken, 18th and 19th would be finals, and the 20th would be Teachers Institute.
So there would be a
Full week. Right, you have a full week in between the last day and graduation. But you might get another emergency day between now and then. You might get one tonight. tonight. Yes, so.
Talking to some parents about it, it doesn't seem like they care too much. They plan ahead and know, months in advance as to what day it would be. So I'm good with whatever we decide. When they call, we'll be back to the start then.
I don't think a week in between is too much, because all of a sudden you can say every day.
I think that's all I have for the questions.
Are you going by the rules or is that
Technically September of next year, but next school year. Yeah. We're going to a few conferences and workshops about that Senate bill, and about the transition to that new model for next year. So this is still generally the rules.
We're starting to wind up some of our middle school sports seasons. The middle school boys basketball team. We're in the midst of an incredibly busy time right now. We just hosted 7th grade Little Tri-County. We had a very good showing. We were able to write a check back to the conference, so I was pretty happy about that. Starting this Saturday, over the next 2 weeks, we will also be hosting the 7th and 8th grade regionals. So I'm hoping we don't have any of that snow, so I can know that the least bit. Middle school volleyball, their season's going. They just played in their first tournament. They played at the Coates Invitational in Princeton, which they took first place. They took down the Holy Trinity in 2 games, JFK out of Spring Valley in 2 games, and beat Kingston 3 to take first place. So we're very happy, excited about the start of their season. High school girls basketball is in the middle of the Tri-County tournament right now. We lost to Putnam County on Saturday in our opening round game, but Lauren Kimball is participating in the free throw competition they have during the Tri-County Conference Boys and Girls Tournament. Lauren had the highest opening round number of free throws out of anybody in the conference, and she moves on to the championship round on Thursday night, and they'll shoot at halftime of the 3rd and 4th place game on Thursday night. We're playing in the Constellation Championship versus Henry that night. All games are down at Troy Christian, so we're hoping to have a good first game, and then hopefully Lauren can get good luck rolling at halftime of the Constellation game. High school boys, they're also getting ready to head into the Tri-County Conference Tournament. That tournament kicks off next week. All games are at Putnam County again this year. We're the 7th seed, and we open up with Putnam County on the 25th, so next Monday night. I didn't write the time down. I think it's 6:30. That is what time they take on Putnam County. Real quickly, I gave the board, I don't know if Mr. Stevenson put it in there or not, the bid from NEVCO. We're starting to have some issues with the scoreboards in the gymnasium. Over Christmas break, I had the janitors take a look at some of the bulbs in it with us hosting as many events as we are. We were also, I believe we're getting the 7th grade regional will also be here for the IESA. So I want to try to get the board looking as good as I can get it. They were up there and they said that several of the sockets don't even have power going to them anymore. It's starting to fade. The box itself malfunctioned in one of our 5th, 6th grade games one night and just shut it down. And luckily it all came back on, but it's starting to show a little bit of wear and tear. I talked to NEVCO about getting a replacement box. They don't make that box anymore. To get anything similar to that, he said you could maybe try eBay. I tried. I found one, tried to buy it, and I sold out. It was about $400 for a used one. To get one that would fit what we need for would be about $1,000 just for the box itself. At that point in time, my thought process was that worth it just buying a box, or do we try to look at something a little newer with all the events that we're trying to host, and what I would like to continue to advise that we continue to host in the future. I know we've gotten a lot of good, really positive feedback. Kind of one of the ADs or the coach said that if this is how we're going to treat people when they come to our building, we'd be more than happy to come to Midland for every little Tri-County event. Very happy to hear that news. But at the same time, I can't keep funneling teams in and out of here with the scoreboard that I can't trust. that I'm afraid is going to malfunction on me. We were able to dig out the box from the elementary school. Doesn't look pretty, but it does work. It didn't electrocute me when I plugged it in, so that wasn't positive when we tried it out. The bid I got is for 2 boards. One would be similar to what we have already in there, and then one would be a slightly bigger one, similar to what high school has, plus a wireless box with it. All told, you're probably looking at $7,800, but that does not include any type of labor cost of putting it in once we get it here. I'm not saying I want, we definitely need this. I just need some guidance as to what the board kind of wants me to do. You want me to see if I can bring in an electrician to go up there, try to refurbish it all, buy a new box that we'll have here, maybe keep this going for kind of piecemeal together for a couple more years. You want me to look around? I mean, Nevco, I believe, when we had in high school, what we've used in the past. If you want, I can shop around for other places. I don't know. Their estimates on the phone with me when I had told them what box model we had. I was able to find the serial number on it. That serial number was from 1986. So he's guessing that that's probably about what the boards around that time period were purchased.
Big 70-inch TVs that had an app that could do something. Seriously, I'm not saying you can't or can't, but a board with a bunch of lights on it, that's, I'd be curious if there's other alternative things like having, seriously, if you bought like a 70-inch TV nowadays, you can buy it at Sam's Club for $1,800 and probably have an app with something that could go on there. I don't know.
My personal opinion. That's what I have you guys encouraged you guys, so I personally don't see the point of putting that much money into that because it's the way that it does. And who knows if it'll, how long it will last. So.
Right, that's my fear is if we get into a situation where we gave the board prize out on us, we have to call the game, we have to finish the game, and stopwatches, and a clipboard. It just doesn't send the greatest thing for us. I don't think it's the greatest thing we can send out. I hate to bump everything to high school because it puts out high school teams in the summer schedule right now. We just can't do that. No, you're not. I mean, this is just something I'm trying to do. If we want to, which would reduce your costs. We got the 8x6 one, you're still talking, reducing their cost at almost $2,300, $2,400. Like I said, I know this is something I kind of brought up last year, and I'm concerned about the boards. This year, with just some of the events we've been hosting, kind of holding their breath some nights as we go through these games, about whether or not they're going to keep working. I know even the janitor said the one day they were working on the board, everything shorted out until it used in school. So they were a little worried that they're going to call and say they'd go to boards. So, like I said, I'm just looking for some guidance, what you guys want me to do, and how to approach this project. Another notable brand that I know of would be Daktronics. I can reach out to them. I don't know where they're based out of. I know a lot of people in this area use Nevco because they're out of Greenport, Illinois. That's a national brand. I'm not saying they don't just sell Illinois, but they're a national brand.
And that goes very rapid to probably the best in the industry.
We haven't had any issues going to high school.
Not that I know of. I think that's nice thing too is the wireless aspect of it all. Having to have all the cords hanging around. That's kind of where everybody's going now, just because they're going to replace the cords constantly. I've got a cord now that next year I'll have to buy some replacement cords for it. Just to spray a little bit of shell's age.
But I can't see. This is 30 years old.
That's what they're, I mean, I don't know. I know the box itself is at least, came through and stamped the seal number on it, was June and August 1st.
Got a lot of use out of it.
And the guy was even surprised when I talked to him a couple weeks ago. He was surprised that we were still utilizing some type of model like that. I said, you have something that's laying around, and he chuckled for a second. He said, "Are you serious?" I'm serious. And so they did. They looked through their warehouse. They still didn't have anything that old that we can use. Now we can buy the new models that'll work on these boards. Like I said, you're talking still $1,000 for them to have the right wires for it.
Maybe a good idea to get two separate bids and have to work out on it, what one board costs versus the two boards.
I can do that. I can bring back I can bring back multiple bids for the February board meeting with her.
I would say the danger of only buying one board, once it goes out, then you can't just, because there are other requirements, when I have been in seen situations, then it takes one board's out, you can't still play the game.
Right, right.
Something to keep in mind. If
That's
it's
why-
$1,000, it's really not worth it anymore.
In the bid I got from Nevco, it's an 8x3 similar to what we have currently in the gym, and then an 8x6, which is similar to what we have in the high school gym. And so on this one, which I can make copies of after the meeting, I can give everybody a break for that board meeting for the second bid. Similar to what I was thinking, if we had that second board. And then lastly, just something I wanted to hit on, I know it's kind of been brought to your attention probably about some of the sportsmanship. I just want to make it clear that this isn't just a problem that's affecting just a Midland issue. This is a problem that we're having, it seems like, sports nationwide. Just talking to some both athletic directors around the state who said, yeah, we've had some more issues in the past than we've not normally had. Even officials say that, they've had some issues that came out of the blue with other schools. So I did talk to the ISA again today, wrote a letter about our sportsmanship. We posted letters today about reminding people what we expect at our events on our Facebook pages on the district. I know on my middle school site it's on there. It's also on our sports page as well. And hopefully the team effort here will be getting better for sure. So I know the IESA is going to discuss an option about having stricter punishments to coaches who are taking from contests. Right now, we're currently punishment for one game. They want multiple games or like a date time frame on it. I know I have a few reservations about some of that issue as well, without getting there to give a conversation. But I would expect something to come out of the ISA probably this week. Probably they're going to do this year. Because I know they talked to the director Ensley, they've seen a massive spike around the state this year of rejections from adults and players that they've never seen before. Any questions or concerns for me? Thank you.
Okay, we move on to item 10, consent agenda. 10.1 is the approval of board meeting for December 14, 2016. 10.2, approval of closed board meeting minutes for December 14, 2015. 10.3, approval of board meeting minutes for December 2015. 10.4, approval of closed board meeting minutes for December 2015. 10.5, approval of board minutes meeting January 12, 2016. 10.6, approval of closed board meetings of January 12, 2016. 10.7, approval of bills and payroll. 10.8, resignations are done. And 10.9, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll make the motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second? A second.
Roll call vote, Wheeler.
Yes.
Stickle.
Yes.
Arnold absent. Kimball.
Yes.
Cusack.
Yes.
Weber.
Yes.
Number 11 on business, there is 12 new business discussion action items. 12.1 to approve the seniority list for that's under 16. We have to do that every year, right?
I'll make a motion to approve this morning for fiscal year 16.
Second.
I second that.
Roll call vote, Wheeler.
Yes.
Stickle?
Yes.
Absent. Kimball?
Yes.
Cusack?
Yes.
Weber?
Yes.
12.2, approve report that the need for confidentiality still exists as to all or part of the proposed amendments and review.
Make a motion to approve report that the confidentiality still exists as all or part of the proposed.
Second? Roll call vote. Wheeler?
Yes.
Stickle?
Yes.
Marvin's absent. Kimball?
Yes.
Cusack?
Yes.
Weber?
Yes.
12.3, to approve superintendent to begin preparing the fiscal year 2017 budget.
Make a motion for approve superintendent's meeting of preparing the fiscal year 2017 budget.
Roll call vote. Wheeler?
Yes.
Stickle?
Yes.
Cargill is absent. Kimball?
Yes.
Cusack?
Yes.
Weber?
Yes.
Okay, 12.4, to approve school board meeting dates for the 2015-16 school year. Just reaffirming what we already have for the rest of this.
Roll call vote. Wes Wheeler? Stickle?
Yes.
Cargill's absent. Kimball? Cusack?
Yes.
Weber?
Yes.
12.5, to approve annual student ski trip to Cascade Mountain, Wisconsin.
Who sponsors this?
Side club, so this is for
I'll make a motion to approve the students.
Second?
Second.
Call vote. Wheeler?
Yes.
Stickle?
Yes.
Cargill's absent. Kimball?
Yes.
Cusack?
Yes.
Weber?
Yes.
12.6, to approve amendment to the extension of employment contract with Jansen and White
I'll make a motion to approve the extension of employment with Adam Johnson to
We'll call vote. Wheeler?
Yes.
Stickle?
Yes.
Cargill's absent. Kimball?
Yes.
Cusack?
Yes.
Weber? Yes. Funyun.
Yes.
Okay, 12.7, second reading of board policies, and I asked the secretary to read those.
2.1, board member conflict of interest. 2.150, school board committees. 2.200, types of school board meetings. 4.170, operational services. 5.90, personnel, abused and neglected child reporting. 5.100, personnel, staff development program. 615, instruction, school accountability. 650, instruction, school wellness. 660, instruction, curriculum content. 6.160, instruction, English learners. 6.270, instruction, guidance and counseling program. 6.280, instruction, grading and promotion. 6.310, instruction, high school credit for non-district experiences, course substitution, and re-entry students. 6.315, instruction, high school credit for students in grades 7 or 8. 6.320, instruction, high school credit for proficiency. 6.340, instruction, student testing and assessment program. 7.50, students, school admissions, and student transfers to and from non-district schools. 7.1, students' health, eye, and dental examinations, immunizations, and exclusion of students. 7.130, students' rights and responsibilities. 7.140, students' search and seizure. 7.290, student suicide and depression awareness and prevention. 7.300, students extracurricular athletics. 7.305, students, student athlete concussions and head injuries. 7.340, students, student records. 8.30, community relations, visitors to and conduct on school property.
Well done.
Is there a motion? Policy.
I'll make a motion to approve this policy.
Second?
I'll second it.
Call the vote. Wheeler?
Yes.
Stickle?
Yes.
Parker's absent. Kimball?
Yes.
Tuzak?
Yes.
Weber? Yes.
Okay, next item is 12.8, to approve fuel bid for fiscal year 17.
Questions on the bid? Quite a bit different from the previous year.
I'll make a motion to approve the fuel bid for fiscal year 17.
Second?
I'll second.
Wheeler?
Yes.
Stickle?
Yes.
Parker's absent. Kimball?
Yes.
Tuzak?
Yes.
Weber? Yes.
12.9, discussion regarding the building options in the event of referendum failure. What we need to do tonight is discuss some of the financials, and also we need to be ready to go. As the other information we learned that on March 16th, we need to be ready to go. So, want to look back at the options that we talked about before in case the referendum does not pass. I think we talked about looking at option 6, which was at the high school, 6 to 8, 6 to 12, and then pre-K, 5th grade. But you want to comment then about those funds?
You have $4.1 million to work with for additions.
We can bond.
Plus probably $1 million in reserve that you could use. 6 through 12 option, it's unknown if that would be approved by the state board for a life safety replacement. I have heard from 2 different people on the state board, one that says it wouldn't be approved, one that says it would be approved. I talked to somebody with the Illinois Association of School Administrators last Friday. They felt that it would be approved. What they all agreed on is if the district decided on a pre-K through 8 configuration on this building, it would be approved. The reason why is what the statute states is that it has to be a similar configuration. And if we move the students from there to here, when I say the students, the elementary students from there, the elementary school to here, and then move 6 through 8 out to the high school, there could be some question whether or not that is a similar configuration.
Pre-K through would be similar configuration. So that's something we haven't seen anything or asked for from the architects, right?
No, we haven't.
Yeah.
Similar to option five.
Keep in mind, though, that was $6.6 million.
But that included here as well, correct?
Right.
So if we took that away, that dropped it. We took all the configurations of the library and
It
the
also,
offices.
it also included the expansion of the classrooms to like, some of them to like 1,000 square feet. Right now, we have some classrooms that are less than 1,000 square feet, and they have the same amount of students in them that some of the classrooms at the elementary school have. And we have some classrooms at the elementary school that are not even close to 1,000 square feet. I think you could add on to this building for $4.1 million and house pre-K through 8 in this building.
And the water would not be an issue.
No.
That needs to be verbally stated, hearing that over and over
The
again.
engineers have already looked into it. Now, if you want to direct me to, you already have a plan for the 6 through 12. I can talk to the architects tomorrow and ask them to develop a plan for a pre-K through 8 here with, within a budget of $4.1 million. I'm telling you right now, and this doesn't affect me, if this thing does not pass, and we get into a meeting, there's not going to be any wiggle room for debate on, well, what would it be like if we did this? What would it be like if we did that? Because that building is not long for this world.
No,
It is not.
I want to see this settled before lunch.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So we don't waste months having this kind of debate. Do it
Good,
now.
yeah. And that's what I recommend.
right.
And we could do that January 28th. Check out their questions, finalize what we want to do.
That might be helpful. I think we need just maybe a little bit more time, because I don't want to rush into anything. I want to be able to see it, have questions, and even allow anyone else to have questions. That way we're clear and concise, okay? This is what's going to happen, this isn't what's going to happen. I mean, we have to be very deliberate. I don't like rushing and just maybe looking at it one time and saying, okay, yeah, that's okay.
Well, I don't think we're talking about the specific of it, that's the general.
But the general plan is, I want to
Yeah.
have people. And I'm just saying a little bit more time, I think at the end of this month is, at least 2 minutes. Let's get a little bit of time, not just 1-2 weeks, just to look at it.
Well, we could do it quickly.
Yeah, but I think,
I'd like the voters to be able to go, when it comes time for the referendum, realize that they're either voting for the new school or this configuration, one or the other. And they have enough time to know that. We need to have a decision to give folks enough time to, more than just a week or two, so the general public understands what they're voting for.
You have a drawing of option 6. I would still leave that on the table.
I
But
honestly don't like, I'll be honest with you, I don't.
But-
I always said I do.
on the 28th, I think that when he comes here to talk to you about this, I would advise you, and I know all of you probably agree with this, that he needs to have some kind of direction from the board on what to do so he can get to work on it immediately and then bring back floor plans, elevations, renditions for an alternative option if this referendum doesn't pass. And I agree with Brian. I think it needs to be done before March, which is a very short time.
we've just, I think the longer, I mean, I just think come March, after that referendum, after the election, I mean, then we need to start meeting.
On something.
Yes, whether,
what do we need for meeting?
28.
We need a clear direction before we start at that time. First, I'm right now. Option 6 is unclear. I don't need more time. I have to go over this so much and talk about it for months and months and months.
I personally prefer the option 6 myself, but, you know, if you're gonna gamble, then,
I originally liked option 6 too because that's what the teacher said was the best. They thought that was the best for education. Both options. Either way.
Well, the gym was obviously about 800,000, which will have 550, 600 in reserve.
We need to take some more time to figure out what we want before we rush to decision on that. I think that, we need to look at plans then, review everything again, look at the numbers a little harder because, I mean, in all reality, we've never gotten down to the real details of everything. So, personally, I think we should get some more time to look at them. Are you intending then for Chuck to work on this at the same time that he's working on pre-referendum stuff?
Because option 5 is unrealistic. You can't bond $6.6 million. All you can bond is 4.1, and that's life saving. So he's going to have to trim off that.
We can give him the direction here, what
Yeah.
So I guess what I'm saying is, I just want some time to actually look at what he gives us that time. I'm not saying we don't give him the direction to go with 1.4, 1.5 pre-K through fifth. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that when he gives us a plan, I want to be able to look at it seriously and look at it with what the teachers thought with 6 being the best, looking at 5 and see what we're really going to lose. Because honestly, okay, when it comes down to it, referendum passes, it doesn't pass. Either way, that's what we have. And I really want to know what we have and what we aren't. And I don't want to just quickly just say yes because this is the best one. I really want to look and see what would we be getting after this pre-K through 8 with this now that's only 4.1. I really want to see what that is and have time to actually look at it and look at it. I'm serious, just go over it.
So, as something that we take 1.1, have the, okay, for 2014, and then we will decide and vote on that. February, is that what it is?
Yeah. At the same token, I'd also want to get a little bit more feedback again from some of the staff also, probably about a little bit of feedback from what we had in Jerry at the same time. The thoughts of it. I'd like to have as much information to make you guys as good of a decision as we can. I value their input as well.
I agree with Jason in the fact that I don't want to see, I mean, I'm concerned about looking at the gym. So I mean, if there's some way for 4.1, that other gym intact, because you lose 2 gyms or 3 half grades here, that's way too low. But again, I want us to be able to look at what we have and not just make a snap decision. Go back to our taxpayers.
Well, I'm fine with that as long as, you know, get to the point where we're telling you what we should put in there, that's not our job. But that's good. I think we should put that in.
So, when are we supposed to find out about the quality construction bond? And maybe we'll be on that as far as.
How does that impact?
Well, that's up in the air. You applied for $1.4 million in qualified school construction bonds. That will pay for the life safety work in this building and for the life safety work out at the high school. That's required. You're gonna have to bond that. It's interest-free money. Well, it's not interest-free.
It's not required that we bond it. Even if we're approved, we wouldn't have to.
No, you wouldn't have to. But I mean, it's interest-free money. I mean, you'd have to do the repairs anyway.
You could pay it out of reserves and shows.
You could, yeah. And then you also applied for 4.1 in qualified school construction bonds. In the event that the referendum passes and the board elects to sell bonds, building bonds, then they would not accept those $4.1 million in qualified school construction bonds.
But those bonds could be used for here.
If you transition to additions in the event that the referendum failed, yes.
Okay. Could they be used if we picked option 6, with 6, 7, and 8 with the high school?
That is unknown, but probably not.
And there is no timetable that we're gonna know.
Not that I know of yet. The window closed on the 15th, and the bidding for it is very competitive, very competitive. I have no idea when they're going to start notifying districts that they've been awarded an opportunity to concede for approval for qualified school construction. I don't think there's going to be any sense around either. I think the 500 million is going to go on the ground.
Do any schools have lobbyists to go and,
Sure. Many do. The bigger ones, 150.
you know, I'm not college.